Hey, Mr. Simonini here. This video is the beginning of us starting to mix all three forms together now. That is vertex form, standard form, and factored form. And this today is more going to be focused on solving rather than graphing right now. Just a kind of quick reminder how to solve in all three forms. Don't forget, whenever you're solving a quadratic, again, these are solutions. Again, solutions or roots or zeros are the same things as x-intercepts. So whenever we're finding solutions or we're quote solving a quadratic, what you're doing is you're finding the x-intercepts. So I'm gonna go ahead and go. There's gonna be three problems we're gonna do. Don't forget this rule too. Whenever there's one x present, that means you can isolate the x and get it by itself. Or in other words, you can go straight to your chart. For example, when it's in vertex form, understand there is only one x present in this problem. So we can start isolating it. Now, if you're a person that likes first semester, your arrows, that's fine. You can use it here. But if I'm going to solve this the traditional way of getting x by itself, what you do is you add 8 on both sides. Again, you do the addition or subtraction first in this case. Again, I'm going to rewrite what I have on the left side now. Negative 8 plus 8 is 0. 397 plus 8 is 405. Now, when you get to here, do not take the square root of both sides. Okay, you want to get rid of this 5 first before you take the square root. So what you want to do is, in order to get rid of times 5, you divide by 5. Again, if you don't do that, you will get the problem wrong. So just make sure you're understanding that. So this would be x plus 6 squared equals 405 divided by 5. Again, put it in your calculator, but that will be 81. So again, that's what that is. And then the next step is to take the plus or minus square root of both sides. Again, this is something that you did for a semester. You might have done the arrows ways, but this is now hopefully you're trying to do it the traditional way. Anyways, the square root, the parentheses, and the square will cancel out. What you have is x plus 6. The square root of 81 is 9, so you have it equaling 9, or you have x plus 6 equaling negative 9. And then what you do is you subtract 6 on both sides. In both equations, and then you get your two answers. So x is going to be equal to 3, or, again, these cancel out, x equals negative 15. So again, these are your x-intercepts. If you were going to graph this, if you got everything on one side and graph it, those will be your solutions. Again, if you're solving, you're trying to get x by itself. Now again, you can get x by itself whenever there's one x present. Otherwise, if there's more than one x present, then you're going to have to use the quadratic formula, or with factored form. If it's in factored form, you can just do opposites, which I'm about to show you right now. Now, what you're going to see in the homework is an equation like this. Now, this technically, you can call it vertex or standard form. So if you look at it as vertex form, meaning there's two ways of doing this problem, and I don't care which way you do it. Usually the first way is the quickest way, but if you think about it the second way, then that's totally fine. So let me explain the first way first. So if you look at the first way, you can look at it this way. Oh, there's only one x present. I can just do arrows. That's one way of looking at it. Okay. So in order to do that, so if you are going to solve it, so just be clear, you subtract 6 on both sides. Again, get rid of what's not attached to the x right away. So it'll be 4x squared equals 292. Now, do not take the square root of both sides. You got to make sure the numbers in front are taken care of, meaning there's a 4 here. So you have to divide by 4. So you have to divide by 4 before you take the square root of both sides. You get x squared equals 73. Now you're going to notice that's not a perfect square, which is totally okay. So if you look here, again, actually your answer is, again, if you want the exact answer, it'd be the square root of 73, which is going to be about, I'm about to show you that, or x equals negative square root of 73, which is going to be about, because we're about to round that. Now you can go to decimals.com, you can plug it in. I already plugged it in. The square root of 73 is about 8.54 if I round it to 2 decimal places. So you get an answer of 8.54, or you get negative 8.54. So in this case, my two answers are x is about 8.54, or x is about negative 8.54. So again, those are my answers for, again, my x-intercepts or my solutions in that case. Now, if you look at it this way, this is another way you can do it. Now, you thought, oh, wait, I'm just going to use the quadratic formula because I have, something that looks like an A right away. So what you can do If you look at it that way, that means you have to get 0 on one side. This is what you just did recently. You got 4x squared equals, and not equals, sorry. 6 minus 298 is going to be negative 292. And then this equals 0. Now, if you look at it this way, you got A being 4, B being 0, C being negative 292. And then what you can do is you can plug it in to the quadratic formula. So do the quadratic formula, it'd be x equals 0 plus or minus the square root of 0 squared minus 4 times 4 times negative 292 all over 2 times 4. Go to decimals.com, plug it in your calculator. Again, I have to hit the fraction bar first. So it'll be 0 plus the square root of 0 squared minus 4 times my A, which was 4, right? 4 times my C, which is negative 292, all over 2 times my A. And if you look there, I get the same exact answer, which is 8.54. Look at that. Or you can change it to negative, and then it'll give you the negative answer as well. So my answer in this case, again, will be the same thing because, again, it's just a second way of doing the problem. And again, I don't care which way you do it. You can choose the first way or the second way, whatever way makes more sense to you. But if you see 1x present and you start solving it right away, you can. Or in other words, you can do your arrows. Or if you look at it, oh, this looks like I can use the quadratic formula. That means you have to move stuff over. Please recognize that B is 0 here. There's no x term. And then you can go ahead and plug it in. Again, it does not matter which way you do it on the homework. I show both ways, by the way. And then the third type of problem you're going to solve is when it's in factored form. Factored form is awesome. It's probably the quickest way of solving. Again, you let y be 0 because, again, you're finding the x-intercepts. And all you need to do is just understand, it's just the opposites. So the opposites of negative 7 would be 7. And the opposite of negative 10 the opposite of 10 will be negative 10. So my two answers are 7 and negative 10. And it's just that easy. All right, anyways, these are the type of problems you're going to see on today's homework. We are going to keep solving more situations. So these are not the only 3 situations you're going to see, but these are going to be the 3 situations you will see on today's homework. Anyways, please let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.